You're all probably wondering why I'm bothering with something like this, but I am the same guy who made a video on Wiki Islam of all people, so, shut up and let me do this. Besides, David's gonna say some things which will make for some interesting firepower against some other claims of his. Let's hop right into it.
Have you ever met a man who saw a baby girl crawling on the floor and proposed marriage to her? Neither have I. Apparently, this is something that men just don't do. Now, imagine someone who's a religious authority proposing marriage to a baby. Imagine your pastor or priest or rabbi or imam seeing your 6-month-old daughter and saying, "I can't wait to marry her." Would you continue going to that church or synagogue or mosque? Men, answer me in the comments section. How many teeth would your pastor or priest or rabbi or imam still have in his mouth if he so much as suggested the possibility of marrying your infant daughter? What kind of man sees a baby and hears wedding bells? What kind of man hears goo goo gaga and thinks, ooh la la?
Ah, David, you just gave me so much meme fodder.
You fool! I've been trained in your Jedi arts by Count Dooku!
Ooh la la! Ibn Ishaq, page 311. Ibn Ishaq recorded that the apostle saw her, al-Fadl, when she was a baby crawling before him, and said, "If she grows up and I am still alive, I will marry her." But he died before she grew up. Lucky girl. Name one way this guy isn't the creepiest person who ever walked the planet. Muhammad saw a baby crawling in front of him, and he said, "If she grows up and I'm still alive, I'll marry her." Keep in mind that when Muhammad talks about a girl growing up, he's referring to the girl reaching the ripe old age of 6. This girl never knew how lucky she was that her degenerate sleazebag of a prophet died an agonizing death before he could steal her childhood innocence and then die, leaving her a childless widow for the rest of her life, which is exactly what he did to Aisha. Notice the name in parentheses, al-Fadl. That was added by the translator Alfred Guillaume, and it's apparently a mistake on his part. The baby was later known as Habib bin Abbas. al-Fadl was her mother. We know this because the same story occurs in Musnad Ahmed, and the baby is clearly identified as Habib. In the history of At-Tabari, Habib, the baby, is on the list of people to whom Muhammad proposed marriage but never married. What are our Muslim friends going to say about this?
We're not friends.
Well, it was a different culture. Back then it was perfectly normal to propose marriage to a baby. And perhaps Muhammad saw her and knew that she had a great memory, and so he wanted to marry her so that she could preserve stories about him and be a blessing to the Muslim community. Blah, 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 blah.
Blah, 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 blah. You've had your fun, David. Now it's time for me to ruin it. There's nothing that needs to be explained away here. This is just like what so many people have been trying to tell you pretty much from the beginning. The Sirah literature cannot be used as a source in and of themselves. They are based off of the chains of transmission compiled beforehand, which is why they always tell you where they heard certain things. This hadith is no different, other than the fact that it's completely unreliable. In the Musnad of Imam Ahmed, hadith number 26870, volume 44, page 441, in the same source David just appealed to beyond Ibn Ishaq for this narration, Sheikh Arnaout says, its chain is da'if, weak. Hussein ibn Abdullah is an unreliable, weak narrator. In the Musnad of Imam Abu Ya'la, hadith number 7075 of volume 12, page 502, he further elaborates on the weakness of this hadith, saying, its isnad is very weak. Hussein bin Abdullah bin Ubaidullah bin Abbas, according to the following scholars, Ibn Ma'in said, he's weak. Abu Hatim commented, he's weak. His hadith may be written but not used as an evidence. Ali ibn Madani Ahmed, the teacher of Bukhari, Ahmed bin Hanbal, and An-Nasa'i said, he must be neglected, and he's not trustworthy. Abu Zur'a said, he's not strong, hadith-wise. Ibn Hibban said, he mixes isnads and rises the marasil, which are unconnected reports. Mizan al-I'tidal by Hafiz al-Dhahabi, volume 2, page 291, Ibn Ma'in said, he's weak. Ahmed bin Hanbal stated, he has some neglectful matters. Al-Bukhari stated, Ali ibn al-Madani told me I neglected his hadith. Abu Zur'a stated, he's not strong. An-Nasa'i said, he must be neglected. Al-Jawzajani said, he mustn't be used. Al-Uqayyi stated, Adam narrated to me that he heard Al-Bukhari rahimahullah mentioned, it is said that Hussein bin Abdullah ibn Ubaidullah bin Abbas and another narrator were accused of heresy. David doesn't know much of anything about the Muslim sources he appeals to, so obviously he was going to appeal to this without even considering the possibility that it's unreliable. It's remarkable how low this is. Now, for the life of me, I do indeed enjoy one thing David said here.
Keep in mind that when Muhammad talks about a girl growing up, he's referring to the girl reaching the ripe old age of 6.
Did you all catch that? Let's understand what's happening here. The hadith says that he would have married her when she reached puberty. According to David, this is the ripe old age of 6. But wait a minute, isn't one of his main arguments against the Prophet that he married Aisha before she hit puberty?
Muhammad had sex with a 9-year-old prepubescent girl.
We already debunked it too. If puberty to the Prophet is the ripe old age of 6, then that would mean that the Prophet consummated his marriage with Aisha after she hit puberty, according to David. Guys, this is a big deal. This unauthentic hadith says that he would have married her when she hit puberty. David continuously says that the Prophet had intercourse with Aisha before she hit puberty. So if David wants to add this hadith to his inventory of Islamic mockery, he'll have to abandon one of his most frequently spammed arguments against the Prophet. Since, if he wants to use this, it would now be established that he would not have intercourse with her unless she hit puberty. Wow, man! Your evil ways have really got you in a bind this time. I can't wait to see your miracle of reinterpretation.
What are you focusing on?
Ooh la la!